In this video, we're going to be talking about dividing by a constant. So what that looks like is the following. Well, a constant is, again, one of those numbers that just doesn't change, so it's not a coefficient. So in this case, the constant is 3, and we're going to be dividing our variable by 3. So if I divide x by 3, I can actually write that in two ways. I can write it in the traditional way, which uses the division symbol, and we could do it in kind of the more advanced way, which is kind of the way that I'd like us to start trying to do as often as we can from this point forward. And that's to write it as a fraction. That's why we learn so much about fractions, is because it's so useful in algebra and in other areas of math. So we're going to try to think about dividing by constants in this way. So I'll show you two examples. So in this example, I've got x over 4 equals 3. Now remember, that really means x divided by 4 is equal to 3. So just to think about it in your head, what we're looking for is a number x such that when you divide it by 4, that equals 3. So let's try some things. So I'm going to start off by rewriting the whole equation. I've got x over 4 equals 3. Now what I want to do is I want to multiply both sides of the equation by 4. When I do that, I will get rid of that divided by 4. So I'm going to write times 4 like that. And when I do this 4 and this 4, they're going to cancel out, and I'm left with x equals 12. Now remember, they cancel out because the first 4 over here, this 4 means divide by 4, this 4 means times 4. So they cancel each other out. So we actually do just get x on the left. Okay, in this example, you are actually going to be introducing this fraction notation. And this is where you're going to start to see how powerful that notation is, using that fraction notation instead of the division symbol. So in this case, I know that I need to get rid of that 6 to get x on its own. And in order to do that, well, I need to divide by 6. So this time, I actually don't even really have to rewrite the whole equation. Because the fraction notation makes you write a denominator underneath, you can actually just use the original equation and just write underneath it. So I'm going to divide both sides by 6. I'm going to write divided by 6, and these will cancel. Here, I'll do that in a different color. This 6 will cancel with that 6, and I'm left with x equals, well, 18 over 6. That means 18 divided by 6. Well, how many times does 6 go into 18? 3 times. And that's it. We barely even had to write anything down. That's the power of that fraction notation. So that's what I mean when I say divide by a constant.